I'm in Mexico City. I'm from New York City. It's really cool. The cultural differences, the dating differences, and just the overall vibe as well. But a cold approach as a base kind of skill allows you to jump on camera, or jump on a podcast or some speaking engagement, and come off the top and just be able to flow with a conversation. So there's a lot of skills that are meta to dating when you kind of start solving your dating issues that can translate into a lot of other areas of life.
Yeah, and that's what I always advocate to my guys too. It is a transferable skill set, and it's a really hard mental process to develop. We use the 3-2-1 go approach to where, say you're getting IOIs, or indicators of interest, or if a girl's into you, maybe she's not. You just see her walking down the street. To have that skill set, like, oh, I like what I see there, and I'd like to maybe have a chance at getting to know her.
Yep.
Most guys psych themselves out a million reasons why. I'm too tall, or I'm too short, or I'm too fat, or I'm too skinny, or I'm not this and I'm that. It's whatever. It's all nonsense. Mm-hmm. But you learn to train your brain to like, oh, I like her. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I don't even do the 3-2-1 go. I get like a glimpse like, hey, I've been in situations like, oh, this is like a professional event. I need to like back off of that a bit. Yeah. But you still have that energy and you still have that muscle developed, and then hopefully captivate an audience for more than a few seconds. And that's a skill set that I think comes directly from game. It helps out really nicely in your professional life. And then it's reinforced by game and the professional life. But like you said, the ability, hey, 3-2-1 go, camera's on, hey guys.
Yep.
Well, now you're ready to go.
Yeah. I'm in the tech field, in industry, and there's a lot of emphasis on being intelligent, being able to solve complicated problems. So there's not as much emphasis on actually being able to communicate. So I find that guys that can combine disparate skill sets, whether an analytical or a technical skill set, along with some kind of social or communication charisma, it's very powerful because it's unique skill sets that play very well and complement each other, and not many people possess both. So the more that I think that people can develop, especially a communication skill set and a presence, especially in our content era, our podcast, video, people are communicating online way more than in the past. It's a skill set that scales so incredibly well.
Exactly. And I think what I find with a lot of our guys, and guys, for those of you watching, if this resonates with you, click on that link down below, book an introductory consultation with us. We'll get you on the right path. And Eric, here in a second, I'll ask you about kind of what your experience has been thus far working with us. But a lot of my guys, I'm the same way. I'm hyper analytical. Mm-hmm. And I've had to work over the years. And again, the dating topic has helped me out nicely to where I need to lean more into kind of like the creative, the ethereal, the more energy, emotionally driven side. Mm-hmm. And you can still supplement that with the analytical and logical side of your brain, but you really have to develop that new brain to experience the world kind of as women do, which they are emotive, to be able to feel the energy exchange. Guys will ask me, how do I know she's into me? I was like, dude, I can just feel it. I can walk by her and I feel her presence wanting me to come into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm still logical. I'm still rational. And then my brain's like, hey, instead of the, oh no, what should I talk to? My brain's like, go. She likes you, get into it. And a lot of the stuff on the surface we're talking to you guys about, it's good to develop the cold approach skills or whatnot, but a lot of it's just a mental reconfiguration as well. Mm-hmm.
If you're able to really start to capture someone's attention and engage them, especially in the dating context, and that is a skill set that is just so powerful in so many different areas. I think that especially in the US or in other places, we don't have as much of that vibe kind of energetic culture.
We don't at all.
So a lot of us come, to other, are basically a little bit stunted in that area. And we have to make a very conscious effort to actually develop that.
Yeah. And what I tell a lot of my, especially guys, if you're from like the US, UK, Canada, Australia, any European or English speaking country, a lot of the guys, I kind of get the vibe, because I've been down here for so long and I hang out with so many girls. As a guy, I'll feel the vibe from a lot of my foreign clients that it's kind of standoffish. And I get this feedback from my girls all the time, especially when we put together these social events, and I'll get like 16, 20 girls there and bring some of my clients. The girls will like the guys. Yep. And then usually one of my girls will put the bug in my ear. She's like, he's doing everything right, but there's something missing, or he's not open, or he's cold, or he's standoffish. And I recently spent the last couple weekends with Americans. I actually went back to the US recently, and everyone I came across, that was the immediate vibe. And on the surface, they're like, hey, how you doing, brother? Hope you have a good day. Yeah. But it seemed artificial. Yeah, the vibe wasn't there.
There's something, yeah, and I think we have maybe a sense that we have to like kind of present in this perhaps like stunted, a little bit overly macho way that isn't
Yeah.
kind of natural, and kind of breaking that habit a little bit and just becoming social and just letting things flow is just such a relief. It's a big weight off of your shoulders. You'll actually find probably when you explore different places and understand different cultures that you'll actually feel like a big weight kind of off of your shoulders that you didn't realize you were carrying.
Well, you recently came back down here after taking a while off. Do you notice, because sometimes I think I do, if I'm leaving Mexico and going to the U.S., the minute you cross that border, it's like, oh, okay, the lights are a little brighter, things are a little, like the buildings aren't built crooked in the U.S. Like, oh, I'm in the U.S. now. But immediately the vibe changes too. Yeah, what are you doing in Mexico? This last border agent asked me, she was like, well, why do you live there? She literally asked me, she's like, you're a white guy, why do you live in Mexico? I'm like, I'm pretty sure you didn't go through like HR training in this role. And it's like, okay, whatever, sweetheart.
Yeah.
But it's that standoffishness. Have you noticed that coming back to Mexico? It's like, you kind of get a sense of relief. You're like, oh, like I'm in a place where everyone's chill.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think that, there's just not being able to overthink everything you kind of say and do and have interactions which literally feel like you're going uphill in the interaction.
Yeah.
It's so common to have those types of interactions that you start to forget that maybe like normal, more healthy kind of social environments just involve a more free flow of energy and more of a natural kind of interaction.
Do you feel like you can be more of yourself down here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
And that you're not punished for it, that you're actually rewarded, especially as it pertains to dating?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Dating, socially, everywhere. If you actually try and be yourself too much, you'll start to get little digs. You'll have a lot of people that give you, just like, where's this coming from? Why, because then that's why everyone, you notice that stiffness.
You're stepping out of your lane.
Yeah. You kind of need to like develop this stiffness because otherwise you're gonna get poked at a lot in the U.S. right now.
Here's a big one in the U.S. This is timely. At this moment of recording, because we're in an election cycle right now, presidential election cycle, and it'll largely be heated. But I noticed when I go to the U.S., people will ask you, they're a little more overt this time around, like, hey, who are you voting for? And I've known back for multiple election cycles, they don't really care who I'm voting for. They want to know how to judge me. What box can I put you in?
Mm-hmm.
So-and-so, yes, no. I'm like, I'm a little more complex than that. I'm not a unidimensional character. For those of you who followed me for a while, and I encourage my clients to this too, there's depths of your personality. You're a dynamic person, but they want to put you in a static box. This person, yes, no. This topic, yes, no. This political hot issue, for or against. You're like, whoa, calm down. Like, we need hours to actually discuss this, and we're probably 90% agreement. But they don't care about that. They want label, status, whatever. And it's a weird way to live life, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think everything is, the corporatization and the kind of stuff of the U.S. is hit every single level of society where, people want a quick fix. They want a quick, like you said, label that you can put on you. So the depths of the relationships and interactions just really aren't there the way that I think we're naturally built to kind of have those types of depths of our relationships.
And you'll notice too, as you spend more time down here, I think in dating, some of the rules change. Before we started shooting, I think you mentioned an example. Oh, this dating coach in the U.S. advocated doing XYZ thing. I'm like, ooh, down here I fundamentally disagree with that. Like, people are going to think you're a weirdo. Mm-hmm. And I think the rules are a bit different down here because there is that more kind of like masculine, feminine dynamic. And that you will meet smart, educated, successful girls, independent girls, but they don't have that standoffish vibe or that almost kind of discontent or even to a further level, disgust towards men. We'll see here shortly. We're going to go talk to girls here in a minute. They'll be receptive to you. Mm-hmm. Even though, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, I'm married, but I'm flattered. You still know that you made their day by talking to them. And that's a positive feedback loop that's consistently reinforced to where, oh, attractive women respond well to me. Mm-hmm. For me, it's really weird if they don't. The only time it happens is if it's like an unattractive American woman. I'm like my version of a 10, like they're flattered when I talk to them here where I live. But in this context, it's like, sweetie, I'm doing you a favor by talking to you. Like, this is not me hitting on you. Do not get mistaken. Yeah. It's like, I'm flattered you think I'm hitting on you, but no.
It's constantly, you're constantly kind of in this, power game that's being played, as opposed to like enjoying the interaction itself. It's all more
That's
about
what it is, yeah.
it's more about like who's got the leverage at this moment or this, and everyone's so paranoid about that. I mean, there's a million different reasons why, but at the end of the day, it's not, I don't think it's psychologically healthy in the long term, quite frankly.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those are derivatives of I like to call them the ist-and-ism philosophies. Those of you who followed me for a while can probably imagine which ones I'm referring to, but one of the core tenets is that like everything's a power struggle. There used to be like the haves and the have-nots, or there's like the victims and the victimizers, and everything falls into this binary thinking, which is funny because as a further extension of that, you're supposed to be non-binary. I won't go more into that topic, but it's really black and white thinking, which like that indicates you have mental problems, because a good buddy of mine and we always say like, dude, I live in the gray. Like things aren't as cut, and sometimes they are. Like, oh, sun's out now versus when it's not out, but sometimes there's that gray area.
Like I caught myself yesterday, I was going for a coffee and I was like, why do I feel different or just a certain lightness right now? And I was like,
it's the altitude. We're a mile and a half plus sea level here.
But also it's it just feels like everyone acts like more of like a real person, like a real human. And I don't, so yeah, it's a huge thing.
So you're in the process of, I know you're kind of on the fence, but it seems like you're intellectually leaning more into that territory of potentially doing the relocation down here. It seems to like where you're at now, I call it, or tell my guys, it's kind of a hybrid model. I did that for a few years, like lived in a U.S. border state, but every amount of vacation I had down here, already kind of started planting the seeds, scoping out the neighborhood, starting to visualize what my life is going to look like here. Is that about where you're at? Yeah.
I mean, this is all kind of, I had my first trip actually to Cancun and Tulum back in late January, early February. And I didn't realize I'd been working on my social skills, having some relationships, and it didn't go down, went for content, didn't realize really like that there was a whole nother world of female-male interactions, dating, relationships. So when I came down, I realized, I was like, wait, this is actually completely different. And a lot of the work I had done, at least in the beginning in the US, did translate to me being able to have some very great interactions, some great relationships right away. And I had no idea before I took the trip that was even a thing. I didn't even think it. And that made me realize that there was this whole other kind of world, per se, that I feel that, now I really need to explore.
And it's so close to home, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's a direct flight away, and here I am in this completely different world. And I think the world down here, like, I actually think it's better. Like you said, you just feel that alleviation, that elation, just that lightheartedness a lot of times, too. Like, things just kind of flow here. Yes.
And it was cool, on my trip back from Mexico City back to New York, there was this like absolute stud, like F-35 looking pilot. He looked a lot like Jaron, actually. And he was super, on sharp, on top of things. And he got us back from Mexico City to New York in like 3 hours and 45 minutes. It was incredible. Like, it was nothing.
This flight's programmed for 4 hours 35 minutes.
It was crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna get you there in 3 flat.
It was seriously. And that
buckle up. We're throwing out on the afterburners, ladies and boys.
Yeah. Nice. So it's super easy to get down here. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I found actually last time I flew to New York, direct flight Mexico City to New York, flew to JFK. The round trip flight was cheaper than round trip Lyft rides from JFK to Manhattan. I mean, company paid for it all, but I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yes. So yeah, no, it's been amazing. These guys, Joel and Jaron, other guys I met down here that are, exploring different, opportunities and environments to try and, have a more, fulfilling life at the end of the day. That's what we all want. So
yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, for guys that may be on the fence, and I find that our guys fall into a few different phases. They're just getting into these topics, learning about geo arbitrage. Maybe they're new to the dating topics. They've been in the dating topics for a while, haven't seen success in the U.S. They're considering going abroad, and then you come across stuff like that. There's guys that are actually in the hybrid model, kind of like where you're at. You're like, okay, I'm based in the U.S., but any moment I have free, I'm coming down to Latin America, and you're starting to build parallel lives, and you're putting more focus and mental energy into your life here as you're letting go or decluttering, we talked about earlier, your physical life back in the U.S. And there's guys like Joel and I, like we're already down here. So we work with guys in those 3 categories. Any of those categories you're in, guys, feel free, again, click that link, hit us up. I've lived down on and off in Latin America over the last 20 years. I've been down here full-time for 4 years. So I've got the process down. Joel's down here full-time. Half our clients are down here in full time. A lot of the guys are in the process of coming down here, so we'll definitely help you out no matter what phase you're in. But any last parting words or advice for those out there? Any of the guys that might fall into those three categories?
Well, there's just one quote that always sticks with me, which is "Go where you're appreciated."
Nomad
So,
capitalist.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a good
yeah.
guy.
So, to me, go check out different places and see what you vibe with. And at the end of the day, you want to be somewhere where your presence is welcomed, appreciated, and you can live the life that you really want.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to sum it up, guys. Eric's living testament. Definitely try it. Like I said, if you made it this far in the video, you're at least curious. Take that next step. Click that link. You'll come down, do an exploratory trip with Joel and I. And I almost guarantee you, you're going to be on the Mexico train. And I think for we're talking about geopolitical reasons, I think that a lot more people might be in that category. So get ahead of the curve. Start it now before everyone rushes to get down here and we're oversaturated. And I think earlier you and I talked about some fantastic topics. So guys, stay tuned. Like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and definitely stay tuned for our next conversation. We're talking about kind of some of the benefits of geo arbitrage and how your lifestyle, from a financial and more kind of quantifiable standpoint, makes a lot more sense to just come down here. Because a lot of people, it's like, well, they're going to do banking or taxes or whatever. We've dealt with all of that. We figured it all out. Eric and I had a nice conversation earlier, so we'll pop on the camera here soon, and that might be one of the next ones. So stay tuned, like, comment, share, subscribe, refer to friends, click the link below, and we will see you next time.